just going to create a quick video on the fixing of the antenna on my 600 milliwatt 5.8 unit. So in a crash this actually cracked off, so it had the old screw-on F-type, so it had the screw-on SMA connector on it, which normally used to sit in this position, but it's ripped off the tracks. So what I've gone ahead and done is I'm going to actually move this across a bit, and by moving it across I can actually pick up some of these other tracks that are actually still useful. That's the original position of where it used to be, and I actually need to swing it around that way because that's how it was actually connected. And if we move it over, we find that the tracks line up, and what I'll need to do is I'll need to run a connection from this point here over to this track, and I need to break this track, of course, for the purpose of picking up the center conductor, and this is all the earth. So what I did was I've gone and scraped away the protective green coating, and I'm doing the same on this side, so that when I solder it on, I've got a bit of purchase on this side as well. So we'll have the solder on both sides for the earth plane holding it down. In the case of getting rid of the green stuff, it's a matter of just carefully getting rid of some of that coating off the top, and that starts to reveal some of the copper track that's underneath, and that'll give us somewhere to adhere to. So just knock some of that off. The other thing after this crash that I can suggest is that you use a pigtail extension to your antenna, so that if there's any load, it's actually taken on by the pigtail and not your actual unit, and you know, you'll hopefully save your unit from this fate of where I've gone and scraped, where I've gone and ripped off the actual connector, and you won't have to do this process again. Okay, that's got a fair bit of it off. I'm pretty happy with that. What I need to do is now break this track, so I'll just come in and try to cut the copper off that and peel it up. Of course, it's a bit harder than what I anticipated. So if we look at that, see there that the track's been cut away. I'm just going to open that up a little bit more because I don't want any solder to come on there and short back to the earth. That'll cause us grief. So with a little bit more work, you can see there that the track has definitely been severed. So I'm talking about just in that gap position there. So what I'll do now is I'll go and tin these sides and this side as well, so that there's somewhere to adhere to, and I'll go ahead and pre-tin all these gold connectors as well, and then we'll go and, before we go ahead, what I want to check is that there's no continuity between that track and say this track here. So what I'll do is I'll get a multimeter onto that and just make sure that it doesn't beep out. So here's the multimeter that I want to use. If we put it into the far side over here, that gives us what's called a continuity test, so denoted by the speaker. You can see here that if I touch these two, it starts to beep. And what we don't want is for that to happen when we test the track. So as I said, I'll pick up the earth plane and the active plane, that doesn't seem to have it. We've got continuity there, and I'll just make sure that I haven't done anything to that ground plane. And if I can play around with it, there's continuity from the back, but not to that active, to the active pin. See, so continuity and nothing to the active, and I'm picking up off the back here as well, off the back. So that's good. We can go ahead and pre-tin this. With the tinning, you want a reasonably good sized head. You know, there's my finger, so it's a reasonable sized head, and what we're aiming to do is make sure that we don't put too much heat onto these pads, otherwise we'll probably lift those off of the track, and we don't want that to happen. So just go in and pre-tin it. There we go, just give it a bit of a solder, it's enough of that. And pre-tin this side as well. And just give the active something to adhere to too. What we'll do is we'll run a connection from here to here as well. I might do that post. What I've been thinking is that I'll connect the connector on, and then I'll put a connection to that center core with a wire and bridge that break in the connection. So it seems like on this side there's probably too much of the flux, and it's just getting a bit difficult to put the connector on. So I'm just removing some of the flux with some braided flux wire remover. And let's just check the fit. See if I can actually get it to push on. Still a little bit too much maybe on this side, and I might just remove some from here as well. Let's check the fit. It's good it's not overheated. Excellent, so see there we've got a reasonably sturdy connection. Okay, what I'll try to now do is connect this with some solder to the actual track. I don't put too much heat in, as I said. I'll connect this side. It's a little bit hot. I'll just let that sort of cool down just a little bit, and then I'll go back and start tinning this side up. In the meantime, while it's actually cooling down, we can do one more continuity check just to make sure that I haven't stuffed anything up. So the outer casing should all work to those connections. So the outer casing, it's got connectivity there, and we'll just check it on that side to the center core. There isn't anything, which is perfect. That's cooled down a bit more, so we'll just add a bit of flux to this side. That should do. I'll just give it a little bit to cool down a little bit. I don't want to add too much heat to all of this. Seems alright, and let's do the other earth. go. I'm happy with that. It's a little bit hot. Silly bugger. Just add a little bit of tin to that, and I think I might have to just clean off that connection just a little bit, just so I've got somewhere to run my stranded wire from there to there, so we can get the centre core connector established again. So just scrape that clean a little bit. That looks quite good now, nice and clean. I'll pre-tin that, and then I'll find a nice little piece of wire to add to that. You may be interested to know that I was able to find some solid core wire compared to that stranded stuff in just some old Cat 5 cable that I've got. So I'll just grab a small piece of that, and we'll just strip the sheath off that. Should have probably stripped it before I took it off. There we go. And we've exposed some of that connector, and what we'll do is we'll run a connection from there over to here with this. So I think I'll use this as one piece to apply that connection. As I mentioned, we need to pre-tin the wire track, and I'll just throw some silver solder onto there, and we'll just quickly apply a little bit of heat. Not quite. Might be better if I actually bend it, so I'll just put a little kink into it at the same time. Which might give me the added advantage of getting it in there. And probably that's enough. Might give me the angle that I need as well. Let's try that again. I'll just move that over here so you can see what I'm trying to do. There we go. That's definitely taken. And we'll just cut off the excess. Oh, I was wrong. That didn't take. Maybe this wire is just too big for that connection. Let's try again. See if that's any better. Seems a bit better. Just cut the excess off, and I'll just bend just bent the wire just down a bit onto that connector, and we'll just quickly apply some heat. To make that connection. So hopefully that was all nice and clear. Let's do some more testing. Just got my multimeter back out, switch it on to continuity mode, and let's just make sure that I haven't gone and stuffed that up. That's good, and that should work to the center core. but not to the outers, to the case. That's pretty good. It works to the pickup on that side, which is really good. I'm happy with that. I think that's given us the connection that we need. I think normally what I'd try to go ahead and do is I'd run some, liquid tape, and I'll apply that next just to give this area a bit of a protection. But what I'm going to do, I think, is we'll test this. I'll put some power to the unit, put an antenna on, of course, because it's a transmitter. Otherwise, you'll burn it out. You'll burn out all the components. And then I'll put the liquid tape on, and then I'll heat shrink this. I'll cover over to the top of that so that it's right as rain, and I've saved myself a $60+ transmitter. I've quickly put together a test rig, so I've got a camera with all of the connections into the transmitter. I've got the transmitting antenna on it, and that's just powering off just a battery that I've got on the side here. Ensure that it's a 3S so that you're well below the 12 volts. 4S will blow this, of course. I'll just put this back into position. And on top of my head, what I have is my fat sharks, which are going to receive the signal on the channel 4, which is what I've selected. Unfortunately, you probably won't see this, but I might be able to get a picture out of that. So at the moment it's just static. So cross your fingers. We'll plug this in. Good part is we've got some power to the unit, and if I put on the glasses, I've got a picture. That's fantastic. So let's see if I can show you the picture in there. So here's me. You can sort of see my finger flicking, so that just confirms that we're actually getting a picture in through the glasses, which is fantastic. So let's neaten this all up, and we'll put some liquid tape on it, like I mentioned, so that we can protect it and finish off the conversion. This is the liquid tape that I use, liquid electrical tape. I mean, we could just apply this straight over the top, and then people are going, well, what about the mechanical bond? I mean, it's failed once. It's up to you. You could just araldite this, and that'll be another good way to, one, protect it, and two, strengthen it. And in a way, that's probably a better way to go. And I think I'm going to do that. There's a fair bit of track there, but I think it'll be a better way to go if we araldite it. So I'll just mix up some araldite and I'll apply it to the connector. I've just mixed up some epoxy. It's a 15-minute cure. There's a part A and a part B, of course, and just mix it together and just literally just apply it to the device. I don't try to go too overboard, but there we go. It's probably all we need, and we'll just let that set, and then I'll come back and do the other side. So don't mix too much. It's just gonna waste your time and waste your araldite. And of course, don't get it on the threads. That doesn't help. Okay, well, I'll be cleaning that off. It's been a couple hours now. The epoxy's done its job, and I think we've got a nice bond between the antenna fixture and the base material itself. So simple as that to make a repair. Don't be daunted by it. And yeah, the soldering isn't very difficult. The trick is not to apply too much heat for too long, like I said, otherwise you'll potentially lift the track and cause yourself a bit more grief. But that was one way at least to repair an old 600 milliwatt transmitter, so be looking forward to using that again. Thanks for watching. Cheers.